All right. Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome everybody. We are back on track for the last pre-market session for this week. Next week, I'm going back to the morning session, 9:30. So let's see what we will get today. I did some pre-planning already. Nonetheless, let's go to the 50-minute chart initially and see what's the name of the game today. Good morning, Mr. Anastolani. Welcome to the stream. So basically what we've seen so far, price was in a consolidation since Asia. It continued to consolidate through the half of the London open session, but eventually price moved outside of this trading range here. Okay, it traded to a 5-minute bearish fair value gap, the last one in this swing, and offered a little bit of retracement, running out relative equal lows here and touching into a 15-minute BC, then rejecting out of that, and now we are basically heading towards the buy side liquidity above the previous day's high slash the old daily buy side liquidity. So a lot of interest resides above the 26,562 and a quarter. A lot of buy side there. Besides that, what we have on the downside, we have this somewhat of a trend line that was slightly being disturbed here, but I don't think that's making enough for it, unless clean sell side liquidity also resting here, but sticking to the higher time frame idea, sticking that we might see the buy side here being attacked. That's my initial expectation going into the session. So with that said, let's see how we actually do and how we manage this trading day. All right, on the near term, minor buy side liquidity 613 buy side right there. We already worked the lower half of that 5-minute premium inefficiency, 5-minute bearish fair value gap. That's what it was here. Then price rejected nicely, moved lower, nice inversion here, and ran on the relative equal lows, very smooth. And now since then price retraced back into the 50% and above, and we are hanging around in the premium area, and that's basically where we opened for the pre-market session. So now the first thing that I want to watch is this 551 bullish reclaimed fair value gap at this moment. Let's make it green to clear what I'm expecting, clear out what I'm expecting out of this PD array, what performance. So preferably the upper half respects, the price respects the upper half and rejects the lower half in here. Okay, that would be constructive for potential continuation higher towards this high and possibly the buy side liquidity here. Right, so that's the initial point of study here on my side. Hello, Mr. Erdogan. Welcome to the stream. By the way, I hope you guys have a good day today. It's Friday, so the weekend is coming very quickly. So as I outlined the lay of the land in here, I will move to the 15-second chart, or actually add a 15-second chart on my right, and I will be watching price ticking on that little time frame here. So already we see price diving through this inefficiency here, which is failing its role as being reclaimed bullish fair value gap. So if we close below it, and we did, now I'm watching if it will act as a potential bearish inversion fair value gap. Okay, just watching, just getting a feel for what they want to possibly do this session. That's kind of like a crossroad here, right? So depending on how we react, or how price deals or delivers around this area, it can go either higher or lower. Okay, and I don't want to make a 50-50 prediction right now. I want to see how price deals around this PD array. So it fails initially to inverse this BC here, which if we close above it, then it goes back to the potential reclaimed bullish fair value gap. Because it took stops, it made a stop right here. I would say the probabilities for this starting to run higher are greater right now. Okay, also relative equal highs here on the 15-second chart, clean smooth liquidity. Let's see, so far price closed above it and ran higher away. Okay, that's fine, that's fair. Still, I'm watching whether it offers any opportunity to return back to this level. That's somewhat like a point of interest for me right now. All right, on the upside here, I want to mention this pool of liquidity that is building up, and I will label it as too clean because it has very smooth relative equal highs being placed or linked together here. Okay, so if price would now come back into this potential reclaimed bullish fair value gap, I would expect a strict reaction higher and run those relative equal highs here. It can do it from where it is here, but for more engageable idea, I would like to see drop lower first. I don't necessarily want to get long here when there is only like 5 or less handles of potential run to the highs, because it could always reject those and go lower, and I don't know at this moment what they want to do for sure. I prefer higher, okay, but I don't know, so need to watch. So far, since the 7 a.m., all of those candles are pretty much back and forth overlapping candles. So it might be suggesting some difficulties, but let's give it a try. Okay, let's see. Still watching for potential return back into this inefficiency here. Also the fact that it's coloring outside of it on the upside way more versus on the downside. On the downside we only saw a very shallow wick below this imbalance, and here we did close below it, but the next candle right away came back into it, and we show way more range expansion above it than below it. That also is a little bit of like a hint to me that it might be more prompt to go higher. Let's see, the buy side is still intact, still in place, so if it would retrace lower from where it is, that would be a potential area of interest to capture a long based on this reclaimed bullish fair value gap. Right, looks like again I forgot to press the record button for the recap. Nonetheless, again 15-minute, the first 15 minutes will be lost on the recap. My bad. Okay, so looks like we are tapping into the buy side liquidity. That's fine. I will take it off. That's completely fine. If it's really bullish, I don't want to see a rejection here after the liquidity was tapped into. So because they did that, I don't see this reclaimed bullish fair value gap as super high probability long right away. It would need to prove itself to me again, because if they took relative equal highs buy side here and then reject quickly, that could mean a deeper run lower, but still kinda need to see what they do with it. Alright, trading some lower after the buy side was taken here. So again, I'm watching for a potential return to this reclaimed bullish fair value gap and how it will be respected here or not. That will be indicative for what we can do about it later. Nonetheless, the large pool of buy side liquidity rests here, and I believe that they will want to take it out before going into the weekend. So it makes a lot of sense, and that looks like a strong magnet on price to go there like initially. So that's where my attention resides, but I need some cleaner price action or cleaner signatures to possibly engage on that. And so far this isn't presenting too much of opportunity in my mind. Alright, so far it's trying to reach this reclaimed bullish fair value gap, but couldn't even reach down into it as it is yet. So I gotta wait. There is a first presented fair value gap for the pre-market session. It's this one that price is trading into right now here. I still prefer to touch to this reclaimed fair value gap, but nonetheless, if it can't even do that, that might be a sign of strength. Let's see how we do in here. But initially we formed this as a busy, then price came all the way down, took stops below this short-term low, reclaimed that, and now it seems like it's respecting the upper half. So that's possibly a bullish scenario here that could seen a run towards the buy side liquidity up there. So the next area in here is what I would like to see. This 5-minute bearish fair value gap that we have that provided the resistance here and a reasonable retracement or decline. Now I would require to see it quickly trade through the lower half into and spend some time in the upper half. That would be like something bullish. So going above it would be preferred or ideal for this scenario, and then this should act as a measure of support for price. So it would basically need to act as bullish inversion for value gap to send us into the buy side liquidity and probably above it. Okay, not only to it but also through it. That's the idea that I would like to see. And yeah, so far I'm looking for further evidence. I don't think there is any need or any requirement to return back into this first presented fair value gap for the pre-market session. Let me label it properly. First presented fair value gap within the potential bullish context. All right, so now I want to see some speed, some easiness in going higher. So it should have no problems going through the high here and possibly above it. That would be the bullish signature that I'm looking for right now. I certainly don't want to see price fail in here and trade lower, because that would be not ideal for this already. We've taken sell side here, relative equal lows, didn't offer any further continuation, reclaimed this inefficiency, first printed fair value gap, respected nicely, touch, price is running away, trading into the consecutive encroachment of the 5-minute bearish fair value gap, and now approaching this high buy side liquidity here. So ideal world, I want to see price go above this 5-minute inefficiency and then use it as some measure of discount array support that would then lend well with running out the buy side liquidity here. We could be seeing speed picking up in here because there is a lot of liquidity above and they want to make sure they get it. So it would be reasonable to expect like a large expansion above. That's what I would expect now, okay? Might be wrong, but that's what I would expect. I'm watching the low of this bearish 5-minute fair value gap, also as this week here. That's where it traded into. If it's bullish, it should snap higher right away. That's what it did. That's what it does so far. So that's positive. One down candle like this can be like a scare shock. So they do it, some people get scared, close their longs or go short, and then they take it all the way up. So far, price couldn't even reach the low of this 5-minute bearish fair value gap, so that's possibly a bullish sign here that we might be snapping above it. That's kind of what I'm looking for here. There is a very small volume imbalance in here. Trading down into it should cause a strong reaction here, I believe. So I'm trying to buy inside of this volume imbalance right there. With the idea that we should see some measure of support at the low of this fair value gap, plus we have 3 discount arrays here that should also prepare some sensitivity. I'm thinking that this tap above this high was only a trap, a shallow run that is kind of like looking like it's going to reverse, but it should just smash towards the buy sell liquidity here because that's where the money is, I believe. So before it got inversed, I'm kind of like treating this as a potential inversion here already. So because this could become a potential bullish fair value gap, by securing a position in a lower half, if it actually becomes an inversion by trading above it, then my entry should be rather protected and safe if it's good. Because after it trades above it, it should not explore the lower half, right? So then I'm in a pretty comfortable spot. Plus, because it's so close to the buy sell liquidity here, it might just run straight away and not give any return back into it. So that's kind of like the thought process that I'm having right now. I might be wrong, but this is what I'm standing with right now. Touching to the low of the bearish 5-minute fair value gap. It can wick below it as long as the body stay inside of it. So let's see if it can come back. Ideally, this 1-minute candle comes right back into this inefficiency and closes inside of it. Or the next one needs to get back inside of it. Otherwise, the probabilities are shifting against me then. I like how only the wicks traded through this high, so there is still like unfinished business here, in my opinion. I like the return back into this 5-minute fair value gap, and now touching the low should offer some sensitivity higher. That's what I'm looking for. If it doesn't do that here, I will need to wait for more information. But I believe this was enough, or this could have been enough of a damage here done prior taking this higher. That would be reasonable. So far, the low is being respected. Wick can go through, but the bodies should not. That's reasonably good here. So now I view this sharp drop as a stop hunt, and I'm very confident that price shouldn't go back below it. If it does, then I'm most certainly wrong about this particular idea. So right now it really should be getting some speed and some momentum on the upside, because they already did the damage here. And now the buy side is obviously up there, right? Let's see what shenanigans will they pull out still. But nonetheless, I like how we touch the high. Preferably we close above it. We wicked above it, closed very near the high. The next candle, I'm watching whether it can leave the range to the upside. The buy side is only 10 handles away, so it's very, very close in proximity. It should be really strongly drawing price higher. After we leave this 5-minute fair value gap on a closing basis, I will move my stop loss just below the low. Close above it, I'm reducing risk, and I want to see speed and expansion towards the buy side liquidity here. All daily high, a very strong pull, very strong magnet on price. We should be seeing speed here. There is no time to waste, really. Now, as price close above it, the upper half of this inversion should be sensitive, right? So we shouldn't see price have easy time going through it. It should be rejecting price higher. That's what I want to see. So now I'm doing projections on how far I believe it could go above the buy side, if it goes there. So this is the 50% of this like lower before this like higher. So this is a very reasonable objective. Then 75% very reasonable, and 1-to-1 price swing would be here. So that would be like a best case scenario. Right, so this would be my targets on the upside. If we can manage to expand above the buy side, I would be looking for each of those levels to be potentially reached. I like how the price respects the upper half of this inversion here. That's what I want to see, but I also want to see speed while moving away from it. Stalling around this area is not ideal, so time is ticking, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. After price reaches the buy side here, I move my stop loss to better than even and leave it just to go. So let's place the take profit at the best case scenario, but I will be taking something off and trailing the stop loss as it will be reaching each of those levels. If it will, obviously, because it could fail still. I don't think it's likely to fail, but it could, right? All right, let's see if now we can begin to attack the buy side liquidity, because that's what you want to see right now, attacking the buy side liquidity. There is lots of buy side resting above this level, and we should see speed in the delivery, so no one can escape, right? Look at the 15-second chart here. Perfect relative equal highs left at this area. So in my opinion, the idea is this. The moment we engage this pool of relative equal highs here, the price should just completely took off. If we tap into the buy side here and then reject that and be slow, that's very, very not good. Touching the consecutive encroachment of the bullish 5-minute inversion fair value gap. I like the reaction out of it. So far it's looking well, but again, I want to see price start leaving and trading higher. now trading into the lower half, and this needs to see rejection here. Price needs to quickly move away from this lower area, and I would view this as a final stop run then. It failed to reach the low. I like to see that, but now reject quickly, and that would be the fire behind the move. So if it's good, if everything stays true, it should be running right now. If it fails here, it really is kind of problematic. The 15-second relative equal highs, that's what I'm looking right now. I want to see price as quickly as possible reach up there and smash right through them. Don't even hesitate. Alright, looks like we should be approaching that now. I'm watching that closely here. It's really the time for the run to occur. Right, the moment we touch those relative equal highs, it really needs to take off. Then it's good. Anything else becomes problematic. So now we touched perfectly to that high, and I'm looking to go through this. Yes, I do, Mr. Tede Umlaudaus. Pretty tricky name. It's still laying a bait here. It traded perfectly to those relative equal highs and now trying to sell off. That's, in my opinion, a trap still, that it should just rip right on through it. touching to the high of the 5-minute inversion fair value gap. That's fine, that's good, but reaction now. Alright, now let's see. Yes, I'm just like the boomerang, bro. You can throw me away, but I will come back with some speed. But yeah, truth to be told, nice to see you, and nice to know that you are watching me. I was streaming 2 years ago approximately, so good old days though. It needs to see follow through right now. This is not good. This is not enough. Tapping into this, and now we need to see like really displacement, because everything on the downside was already done. Buy side is in very close proximity, so there is no need for stalling or rejecting unless it's not good. So this is not what I wanted to see, I'll be honest. I'm still giving it a minute or two to prove itself, because these candles here on 1 minute are still very small and indecisive. Yet I'm waiting for a large candle. Now let's see if we can follow through. Rejection like this is not what I want to see. That's why I will move my stop loss to break even, so I have like a free look. If it still works, then great, but if it's getting shitty here, then I don't want to take a loss. So now I remove any risk. That's nice to hear though, that's nice to hear. Nonetheless, yeah, I also will be doing the PM session in 2 weeks. So next week, the morning session, and then the week after, I'll be doing the PM. So I will see how fun is the PM session, nonetheless. Alright, looks like we might see this push now. We touch to the buy sell liquidity perfectly. That's fine, but that's not enough. I want to see it go to and through it. Bread and butter target, first objective. Then here, next one, and best case scenario up there. So I want to take a partial anywhere between the bread and butter and here, and then I will trail my stop loss higher to see whether we see any follow through. This fair value gap here, the last one before taking out the buy side, preferably it stays open. But we could tap into it and reject. That's what I want to see. But preferably it stays open, at least partially. We already tapped for into it as a institutional order for entry drill, and now we should be attacking the liquidity that rests above this level. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 handles above it. There is all liquidity. The follow through above the buy side, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm waiting for, really. Whether we can pull off a follow through. Again, anywhere in this area, I'll be taking one micro off. First touch to the bread and butter target. I want to see whether we can see a close above it. Right, because it hit the bread and butter target here and I didn't close anything here looking for potential follow through, I'll now move my stop loss higher to here. I'm looking namely on this wick, this longest wick right there. I can grade it. Right there. So my stop loss can be right below it here. And I'm still looking for potential follow through. That might be it. That might be this. This is it, and we go lower, and yeah, then I missed the opportunity to take something off here. But I'm sticking to the higher time frame bullishness and expecting deeper, larger follow through. Still, I might be wrong, but that's what I'm looking for. I like the fact that price traded lower here but failed to touch into this inefficiency here. That's possibly bullish still. Alright, still patiently waiting whether we can see any upside above that level here. No stress, no emotions, trying to move slowly, as slow as possible. So far price is showing that it has hard time going through this level. Nonetheless, it left very clean relative equal highs in here. And I think that might be like an easy pick in here to take out. There we go. That's nice. So now I have two options. I either take a partial here, or I can trim the stop loss below this low. I definitely want to take something off here. But again, I'm trying to be aggressive and trying to squeeze as much as I can out of this. But here I definitely take something off. Oh no, I bought. No, okay. I misclicked. Market sell. God damn it. What the hell? Whatever. I just close it here because I failed with the orders. What did I did wrong? Whatever. If I didn't failed, I would take one off here and look for the best case scenario up there to be hit with the last reminding contract. But I did some shenanigans and yeah, my bad. So if price can hit this level up there, I'm basically content for the pre-market session and I have no more expectations. I already am content, but this would be like the best case scenario, the moral victory up there. And give it to me. Give it to me, baby. Come on. Don't be shy. But regardless, that's pretty much illustrating enough, I believe. And yeah. Still watching if it can do it. That would be great. But even if it doesn't, that's already good enough to be taking something off here. There we go. Tapped into this level. And yeah, I think that's going to be it for today's session. And I will just close it earlier because it's weekend, because you guys have probably something to do, and I will just start the weekend earlier too. Perfect run above the best case scenario target. And yeah, it was a pleasure as always. See you guys next week, but with the 9:30 opening bell session. I will schedule the stream after this one. And yeah, thanks for being there. Bye bye. Wish you a pleasant weekend. Ciao.